A car with a body inside spotted by a drone, and it could help crack a missing persons case.
While drones are indeed capable of capturing breathtaking aerial footage and conducting essential surveys, their accidental discoveries can sometimes be both astonishing and eerie. This happens far more often than you might think. For instance, this one drone accidentally took a chilling photo while flying over the jungle. What it captured was simply breathtaking. Before we go there, let's explore some other cases as well. There's a lot to unpack. Let's get started. Number 20. A strange sight in the woods. This footage was captured over Farmington Canyon in Utah. Viewers are greeted with a serene aerial view of the lush green canopy. The drone hovers smoothly over the treetops, and everything seems normal. Even the drone operator missed out on a small, peculiar detail while navigating the drone. It wasn't until later, when reviewing the footage at home, that something inexplicable caught their attention. At first, it appeared to be a fleeting movement, easily dismissed as leaves swept up by a gust of wind. However, upon closer inspection, the object in question seemed far too solid and fast-moving to be mere foliage. This was very clearly not just a natural occurrence. The object's shape and motion suggested it was more like a rock. The object, given its trajectory, appeared to have been forcefully hurled toward the drone. But it begs the question: how such a rock could have been propelled with such force, especially to reach the considerable height at which the drone was flying? The trajectory was linear and direct. Someone had intentionally hurled it at the drone. Who or what could have been responsible for launching the rock? Moreover, if something or someone was responsible, what were they standing on to achieve such a feat? All we know is that the dense tree canopy, which should have obscured any ground-level activity, offers no clues. Well, if this seems startling and obscure, just hold on a minute. Things are about to get a whole lot crazier. Number 19. Japanese police using drones. Since the land of the rising sun is a technophile's dream, it should come as no surprise that the Japanese police too have embraced the advanced capabilities of drones. But not just for surveillance, but instead to address rogue or trespassing drones. While drones have revolutionized many aspects of modern life, they also pose challenges, particularly when it comes to unauthorized use or breaches of restricted airspace. To combat this, Japanese authorities have developed a novel approach involving drones equipped with nets designed to capture other drones. These specialized police drones are deployed when authorities detect suspicious or unauthorized drones operating in sensitive areas. By using these net-carrying drones, the Japanese police aim to prevent potential security breaches and ensure compliance with aviation regulations. In Japan, the laws governing drone operations are notably stringent. Regulations are particularly strict around restricted areas, such as government buildings and other sensitive locations. This strict oversight reflects the country's commitment to maintaining security and privacy amidst the growing prevalence of drone technology. Number 18. The Giant's Causeway. Filmed back in 2015, this video takes us on a journey through the rugged beauty of Northern Ireland, a land steeped in myth and legend. The person in question, like many before him, was drawn to the region's famous Giant's Causeway, a natural wonder known for its striking basalt columns that stretch out into the sea, evoking awe and curiosity. As the tourists arrived at this iconic location, something extraordinary happened. The camera records a moment when a section of one of the massive rock formations appeared to move, not in a random manner. Instead, it seemed to close shut, as if it were a hidden door. The movement was deliberate, almost purposeful. It was as if something or someone was trying to conceal itself from prying eyes. The sight was startling. Though nothing was seen explicitly, one can only imagine that a giant might have quietly closed the entrance to a secret hideout. The sheer size and strength required to move such a massive stone leave little room for conventional explanations. What could possess the power to manipulate these ancient rocks in such a manner? And why would it do so at that precise moment, just as a visitor was recording the scene? The phenomenon aligns eerily well with the legends that surround the Giant's Causeway. According to local folklore, the causeway was built by the giant Finn McCool, who crafted the structure as a bridge to Scotland to confront a rival. The area is rich with tales of giants who once roamed these lands, leaving their mark on the landscape. Could it be that the myths of giants are more than just stories? Perhaps these ancient beings still reside in the depths of the mountains, hidden from modern eyes, but occasionally making their presence known in subtle, inexplicable ways. The moving rock at the Giant's Causeway suggests that there may indeed be more to these stories, something ancient and powerful that continues to elude full understanding. If this is too mythical for your taste, linger a bit. This next one is very real and very scary. Number 17. Fly Geyser. A fly geyser is the result of a unique interplay between human activity and natural processes. This intriguing rock formation is located off State Route 34 near Gerlach in Nevada. The origins of the fly geyser can be traced back to 1916, when an attempt to drill a well for irrigation purposes inadvertently led to the discovery of geothermal water close to boiling point. You wouldn't want to be anywhere near this place. This high-temperature water, unsuitable for irrigation, forced people to all but abandon the well. Over the years, the geothermal activity at the site resulted in the formation of a striking mineral deposit. Specifically, calcium carbonate began to accumulate around the well, creating a formation that resembles a geyser. This deposit, which is built up to a height of 10 to 12 feet, is what we now recognize as the original fly geyser. In the decades following the initial discovery, a second well was drilled nearby by a geothermal company. However, this attempt also failed to meet its objectives, as the water temperature was insufficient for energy production. Despite this, the site continued to exhibit geothermal activity. Today, Fly Geyser remains an extraordinary and visually captivating feature. It sprays water at temperatures of around 200 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot, very hot. But it also creates a mesmerizing spectacle of natural and mineral processes. The Fly Geyser highlights how human endeavors and natural phenomena can intersect to produce unexpected and fascinating outcomes. Number 16. A medieval ghost. This drone footage from Berkeley Castle in Gloucestershire, England, unveils something truly astonishing. The drone pilot only wished to capture the grandeur and historical essence of the 11th century castle. The majestic architecture, steeped in centuries of history, was the perfect subject for a tranquil flight over its ancient grounds. However, what was later discovered in the footage transformed this casual endeavor into an extraordinary encounter. Upon reviewing the recording at home, the drone owner found what appeared to be a ghostly figure, a spectral rider mounted on a horse. The apparition seemed to glide through the castle grounds, and this is no coincidence. Berkeley Castle holds a grim chapter in England's royal history, as it was within these very walls that King Edward II met a brutal end in 1327. His death, shrouded in tales of treachery and cruelty, has haunted the castle's legacy for centuries. Could this ghostly rider be the restless spirit of the ill-fated king himself, eternally bound to the place where his life was violently taken? The castle, with its ancient stones soaked in history and mystery, has long been rumored to harbor spirits. The ghostly rider, whether truly the spirit of King Edward II or another lost soul, adds to the eerie allure of Berkeley Castle, reminding us that history's shadows often linger far longer than the events that cast them. Speaking of ghosts, they're not confined just to the pages of history and mythology. This next haunting is fairly modern. Number 15. Haunted Tunnel. Located near the small town of Picton, approximately 80 kilometers southwest of Sydney, the Picton Tunnel holds a chilling reputation as a site of paranormal activity. Stretching nearly 180 meters in length, this historic tunnel connects Picton Junction with Thirlmere and has been a subject of local legend since its opening in February 1867. Over the years, the tunnel's dark history has contributed to its eerie reputation. During the Second World War, the tunnel was repurposed for military use, serving as a storage site for ammunition, tanks, mustard gas, and other essential supplies. This wartime function added to the tunnel's foreboding aura, but this is not the most disturbing part. The tunnel has long been a tragic sight for those seeking to end their lives. Naturally, this has further fueled its haunted reputation. Numerous individuals have tragically taken their lives within its confines, adding layers of sorrow and unrest to its already haunted past. The most unsettling legend associated with the tunnel is that of Emily Bullard, a woman who met a tragic end in 1916 when she was struck by a train. Since her death, it is said that her ghost has roamed the tunnel. Eyewitness accounts and local lore describe sightings of Emily's ghostly figure within the tunnel, with many reporting inexplicable phenomena such as strange lights and shadowy figures emerging from the tunnel's darkened corners. These accounts have turned the Picton Tunnel into a focal point for ghost hunters and paranormal enthusiasts. The combination of its historical use, tragic events, and eerie occurrences contribute to the tunnel's status as one of the most haunted locations in the region. The enduring legends and reported experiences of ghostly apparitions continue to captivate and terrify those who dare to explore its shadowy depths. Number 14. The White Monster. Driven by their shared passion for discovering mystical creatures, two friends set out to a nearby town, drawn by strange reports from the local residents. For the past month, the normally quiet area had been disturbed by loud, unnerving screams that echoed through the night. These cries were unlike any animal sound the locals had ever heard, and they seemed to emanate from a cluster of abandoned barns in a neighboring settlement. Intrigued and determined to uncover the source of these mysterious noises, the friends decided to investigate. They brought a drone to explore the area from a safe distance. Flying the drone over the dilapidated structures, they meticulously inspected each barn, their anticipation growing with every minute. However, building after building revealed nothing out of the ordinary, and their initial excitement began to wane. It seemed their hunt for a monster might end in disappointment. But then, the unexpected happened. The drone's camera captured a creature with pale, almost white skin lurking near one of the barns. The sight of it sent a shockwave of adrenaline through the men. The creature's appearance was vaguely human, yet its features were disturbingly alien. Its skin was an unnatural shade, and its face, though reminiscent of a person, had an otherworldly quality that set it apart from anything they'd ever seen. Fascinated and terrified, they maneuvered the drone closer to get a better look. The creature, however, quickly noticed the drone and, more alarmingly, began searching for the source of the disturbance. As it scanned the surroundings, its eyes locked onto the friends' parked car. What happened next was beyond their wildest imaginations. The creature vanished from the drone's view, only to reappear almost instantly, standing right in front of their vehicle. But there's a small problem here. It appears that the video was an elaborate hoax, but just imagine coming face to face with something like this in the middle of the night, about the sounds that haunted the locals. That mystery remains unanswered. Number 13. Haunting drone visuals from Chernobyl. Established after the catastrophic nuclear disaster of April 1986, the Chernobyl exclusion zone remains one of the most irradiated places on Earth. The disaster at Chernobyl's reactor number 4 released a vast amount of radioactive material into the atmosphere, creating an area that is still perilous for human habitation. Even decades later, the zone remains highly radioactive, with levels of contamination that make it unsafe for prolonged human residence. The authorities have strictly prohibited permanent settlement within the area. Among the most iconic remnants of the pre-disaster days is the abandoned amusement park, including its now static roller coaster. This park was slated for a grand opening just weeks after the fateful day, but the planned festivities were tragically thwarted by the disaster. Despite the ban on human settlement, the Chernobyl exclusion zone has become a point of interest for stalkers and dark tourism enthusiasts who illegally enter the area to explore its abandoned structures and capture the haunting remnants of a once bustling town. Remarkably, the absence of human activity over the years has allowed the Chernobyl exclusion zone to transform into an unlikely haven for wildlife. With no human interference, various species have begun to repopulate the area. This resurgence of wildlife in a region synonymous with nuclear disaster highlights a surprising aspect of the zone's recovery and adaptation in the wake of one of history's worst environmental tragedies. Number 12. Giants in Brazil. As a group of travelers exploring the vibrant landscapes of Brazil ventured through the country's diverse terrain, their journey took an unexpected turn when they observed something extraordinary on a distant hill. The travelers were stunned to see two gigantic beings, towering over 3 meters tall, standing side by side. These colossal figures were unlike anything they had ever encountered. Their appearance was distinctly alien. The being's skin was unnervingly pale, almost luminescent under the sunlight, and their heads were shaped in an elongated, unusual manner that immediately set them apart from any known species. Adding to their otherworldly appearance, their arms were disproportionately long, giving them a grotesque, unsettling silhouette against the natural backdrop of the Brazilian hills. Driven by both curiosity and a sense of urgency, the tourists quickly began recording the scene. After securing the footage, they promptly reported the incident to the local authorities, handing over the video to the police. The police, upon reviewing the footage, were equally alarmed by what they saw. Concerned about the potential implications of such a sighting, they temporarily closed the said area to the public and conducted a thorough search of the region. Despite their best efforts, the police were unable to locate the mysterious beings. Number 11. Black-Eyed Girl. Located in Staffordshire, England, the Cannock Chase is renowned for its scenic mountain biking and hiking trails. However, its allure extends beyond outdoor enthusiasts and into the realm of the supernatural. This area has long fascinated paranormal investigators due to its dark and eerie reputation, with numerous accounts of strange occurrences and entities reported over the years. Among these, stories of black-eyed children are particularly compelling. A recent drone footage captured in Cannock Chase added a new dimension to these eerie tales. The video, though somewhat blurry, appears to show a ghostly figure partially obscured behind the trees. Upon closer examination, the figure seems to be a young girl dressed in white, fitting the description of the so-called black-eyed children. These spectral entities are often described in local legends as children with hollow black eyes and are said to be the restless spirits of murder victims from the late 1960s. The Cannock Chase area is steeped in mystery, with numerous reports over the years claiming sightings of black dogs, wolves, ghosts, and even UFOs. While many of these claims lack concrete evidence, they contribute to the area's reputation as a hotspot for paranormal activity. This particular footage only adds to the chilling lore surrounding Cannock Chase. Number 10. Yeti caught on camera. A group of adventurers embarked on a forbidden journey into a remote forest area where tourists were strictly prohibited. Driven by curiosity and the allure of the unknown, they decided to explore the dense, mysterious woods despite the risks posed by wild animals. To ensure their safety and maintain a low profile, they used a drone to scout the area from above, allowing them to observe the untouched wilderness without putting themselves in immediate danger. As the drone soared over the treetops, the explorers marveled at the breathtaking landscapes unfolding below. The forest, untouched by human presence, was a pristine expanse of natural beauty, with towering trees, shimmering lakes, and rugged terrain. However, the tranquility of the moment was abruptly shattered when the drone's camera captured something astonishing by a secluded lake deep within the forest. There, sitting calmly at the water's edge, was a white animal, a sight that immediately piqued the explorers' interest. Intrigued, they maneuvered the drone closer to get a better view of the creature. As the drone hovered above the lake, the strange creature appeared to be fishing with a primitive rod. The creature's appearance was unlike anything they had ever seen. It resembled a large albino monkey with a pale, almost ghostly complexion, but there was something distinctly different about it. The creature's behavior was eerily human-like, yet its appearance was far from ordinary. The possibility that they had stumbled upon a legendary being quickly crossed their minds. They speculated that the creature might be a yeti, a mythical figure often described as an elusive ape-like entity believed to inhabit remote mountainous regions. Could this be evidence of a previously undiscovered species, or perhaps even proof of the existence of the yeti, long thought to be nothing more than folklore? The idea that this area was off-limits to the public suddenly took on new significance. Perhaps the restrictions were in place not to protect the tourists from the wild, but to protect the secrets of the wild from the world. But had they indeed encountered a yeti, or was it something else entirely? The possibility that such creatures might live hidden away in the world's most remote and forbidden places adds a tantalizing layer to the mysteries of the natural world. Number 9. Arrows in the middle of nowhere. If you've ever ventured on a road trip across the United States, or flown a drone over remote areas, you may have noticed large white arrows etched onto the ground. These striking symbols, visible from high altitudes, might catch your eye if you're using satellite imagery like Google Earth. But these aren't mere markings. They have a fascinating backstory rooted in aviation history. The arrows were part of a unique navigation system developed in the early 20th century. Before the advent of modern GPS and radio technology, pilots needed a reliable way to navigate across the vast stretches of the American landscape. After the First World War, the U.S. Postal Service repurposed military aircraft for mail delivery. To aid these pilots, a system was devised that involved placing massive arrows every 10 miles along airmail routes. Constructed in 1924, these arrows were painted in bright yellow and were accompanied by towering structures with rotating lights. These beacons, visible from up to 10 miles away, provided crucial guidance for pilots flying in an era before digital navigation tools. However, as technology advanced, radios began to replace these visual cues. By the early days of the Second World War, the need for such ground markers diminished. Radio navigation proved to be more efficient and accurate, leading to the abandonment of the arrows. Over time, these historic markers fell into obscurity, left to be rediscovered by those with a keen eye for aviation history. Next up, a seemingly mundane adventure went south real quick. Number 8. Trapped by a tribesman, 3 friends ventured into the jungle to test their new drone and capture footage of exotic tropical animals. Excited by the prospect of observing wildlife from above, they launched their drone into the dense foliage, eager to explore the untouched wilderness from a safe distance. However, what they encountered was far from what they had anticipated. As the drone soared over the jungle, capturing stunning views of the verdant landscape, the friends noticed something unusual on the live feed. Amidst the thick underbrush, a figure appeared, a strange man partially obscuring his face as if trying to avoid being identified. His attire suggested that he was a member of one of the local tribes. However, something about his behavior felt off. The man seemed to be aware of the drone's presence, yet instead of reacting aggressively or attempting to destroy it, he stood motionless, staring up at the hovering machine. After a moment of eerie stillness, he calmly placed a black bag on the ground and walked away, disappearing into the jungle. Intrigued and somewhat unnerved, one of the friends felt a surge of curiosity. Driven by a mix of curiosity and a sense of adventure, one of the adventurers decided to investigate, urging his friends to stay behind while he quickly checked it out. Despite their initial reluctance, his friends agreed, watching him anxiously through the drone's camera. As the friend approached the spot where the man had left the bag, the situation took a sudden and dangerous turn. Without warning, he fell into a carefully concealed trap, a pit hidden beneath the jungle floor. Fortunately, his quick-thinking friends, who had been monitoring the situation closely, sprang into action. They rushed to his aid, managing to pull him out of the pit before any harm could come to him. Shaken by the close call, the friends began to piece together the unsettling events. The man they had seen on the drone had clearly set the trap. Given the remote and isolated location, the thought that the man could be a cannibal crossed their minds, especially considering the calculated nature of the trap and the strange behavior he had exhibited. Realizing the potential danger they were in, they abandoned their exploration and returned to safety. Brace yourself, this next one is very serious. Number 7. Woman's body found in a tree. In a startling archaeological discovery, construction workers at the Kern School complex in Zurich unearthed the remains of a Celtic woman preserved within a hollowed tree trunk. This rare discovery dates back to the Iron Age, approximately 2,200 years ago. The woman was found dressed in a woolen dress and shawl, accompanied by a sheepskin coat, suggesting she enjoyed a relatively affluent lifestyle for her time. What makes this discovery even more intriguing is the evidence of her preference for sweets, a luxury not commonly available to many during the Iron Age. Additionally, the presence of her remains in such an unusual burial site, a hollowed tree trunk, adds an element of mystery to her final resting place. This discovery not only sheds light on the individual lives of the past, but also connects us with the historical context of the area in a different time. Number 6. Monsters in the forest. 3 monster hunters received a distressing message from a man living near a dense forest. He reported that a strange creature had taken up residence in the woods close to his home. This creature, which bore a striking resemblance to a monkey with black fur, was far from ordinary. The man had been enduring a peculiar and unsettling problem. His chickens were disappearing, seemingly stolen by this mysterious being. The creature's nightly raids had left him anxious and desperate for a solution. Faced with this bizarre dilemma, he reached out to the monster hunters, hoping they could help him rid his property of this elusive thief. Determined to uncover the truth, the hunters devised a plan. First, they decided to bait the creature by scattering food among the trees in the forest, hoping to lure it out of hiding. With their drone ready to capture any movement, they set up their surveillance and waited. After half an hour of tense anticipation, their drone finally caught sight of something. On the screen, the hunters saw the very creature they had come to find, an entity with black fur, just as the man had described. But what truly startled them was that the creature wasn't alone. Several similar beings emerged from the shadows, each one just as eerie and enigmatic as the first. The monsters quickly seized the food left out for them, and just as suddenly as they appeared, they vanished back into the depths of the forest. Number 5. Giant pink bunny rabbit. In northern Italy's Piedmont region, there once stood a gigantic stuffed pink bunny named Huss. Spanning over 200 feet in length and nearly 20 feet in height, Huss was a fluffy, oversized creation designed by a collective of artists known as Gelatin. This colossal bunny was not just a whimsical sight, but an interactive art piece intended to enhance the hiking experience in the mountainous area. Its enormous soft belly was large enough to serve as a comfortable resting spot for hikers, making their journey more playful and memorable. However, Huss was not meant to remain a permanent fixture. The artists designed it to naturally decompose over time, blending back into the landscape by 2025. By 2016, the massive bunny had already begun to show significant signs of decay, its once vibrant fabric giving way to sad, worn remnants. Despite its decline, Huss remains a memorable example of how art can interact with and transform natural environments, providing a unique and engaging experience for those who encountered it before its slow dissolution. Number 4. Flying pterodactyl caught on camera. This footage was captured near Boise, Idaho. It begins with a seemingly benign scene, a large bird soaring through the sky. However, as the cameraman adjusts the angle, a startling revelation unfolds. The bird, as it turns out, shows characteristics reminiscent of a pterodactyl, an extinct flying reptile from the age of dinosaurs. The video quickly went viral, garnering an extraordinary number of views. The public's fascination was fueled by the tantalizing possibility that a creature thought to be extinct for millions of years might still exist in the modern world. However, scientists and experts quickly weighed in, dismissing the notion that a pterodactyl could be alive today. According to current scientific understanding, pterodactyls went extinct approximately 66 million years ago, and their survival into the present day would be highly improbable. The prevailing theory is that the creature captured on film is not a remnant of the dinosaur age, but rather an unidentified or lesser-known species of bird. Number 3. Viaduct surrounded by the jungle. Deep within the Brazilian jungle lies a remarkable yet enigmatic structure known as the Viaduct Petrobras. This architectural marvel stands out due to its unconventional design and isolated location. Unlike traditional viaducts, which are constructed to bridge natural obstacles such as rivers or valleys, the Viaduct Petrobras curves into a semicircular arc and ends abruptly, creating a striking visual of a bridge that seemingly goes nowhere. This abrupt halt in the air, surrounded by an endless expanse of dense forest, can be quite puzzling for those who encounter it. The unusual design of the viaduct Petrobras serves a specific purpose related to Brazil's infrastructure. The structure was built as an overpass for pipelines owned by Petrobras, the state-controlled oil company in Brazil. Its primary function is to elevate the pipeline above a railway line, allowing the pipeline to cross without the need for a connecting road or pathway on either side of the viaduct. While its design might appear perplexing at first glance, the viaduct Petrobras plays a crucial role in the region's infrastructure. For locals familiar with its purpose and context, it is a significant and familiar landmark. Number 2. Ghost in the cemetery. Residents living near this historic burial ground on the screen began experiencing unsettling disturbances during the night. Unexplained noises emanated from the graves, intruding upon their peace and causing considerable anxiety. These eerie sounds were persistent enough to disrupt the local community's sleep. Determined to resolve the mystery, the residents decided to deploy a drone to investigate the cemetery under the cover of darkness. As the drone hovered over the graves, the footage captured a series of unnerving moments. The cemetery, bathed in the drone's bright artificial light, revealed an unexpected and eerie phenomenon. Out of the darkness, an apparition materialized on the camera feed, a ghostly figure that seemed to emerge from the shadows. The apparition, seemingly caught off guard by the drone's illumination, quickly retreated into the obscurity of the night. The sudden appearance and immediate disappearance of the ghost, coupled with the context of the strange sounds, suggested that something otherworldly was indeed at play. The footage quickly garnered attention, stirring discussions about the existence of spirits and the possibility of supernatural disturbances in the cemetery. Number 1. UFO spotted in the middle of nowhere. Recently, a UFO enthusiast made headlines by sharing a photograph of what he claims is a UFO spotted in Romania. The photo depicts an object partially obscured by trees in a remote area, adding to its mysterious allure. The image shows a structure that resembles a flying saucer, sparking excitement and speculation among UFO enthusiasts. However, this sighting has also drawn skepticism from various quarters. Critics argue that the object could easily be mistaken for something more mundane, such as a water tank or another type of structure. They point out that the idea of a UFO being left unattended in such an exposed location seems improbable. The presence of the object in an open area would make it susceptible to detection by aircraft or drones. While the image undoubtedly captures an intriguing shape, the possibility that it is a common object repurposed for some other use cannot be dismissed. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Did you like this video? If you did, please consider liking, dropping a comment, and hitting the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on our new uploads. Also, don't miss this video you see on your screen right now. It's truly unbelievable.